This is LOA Recon with Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we explore the ins and outs of conscious creation to manifest our favorite dreams come true. Let's have some fun together. Welcome and thank you for joining me for another episode. I think I've got a pretty good setup for recording right now because I've got Fiona, the gray tabby cat, on my lap, and Sable, the German Shepherd puppy, sitting behind me. And Fiona does not put up with any crap from this dog. In fact, this morning she was chasing her through the whole house. Like, there was not a single room where Fiona thought it was okay for Sable to be. I'm sorry to laugh. It was pretty hilarious because there are other cats in the house that they don't even want to be on the same floor as this puppy. So anyway, I think the dog is going to be really well behaved while Fiona's here. Okay. Oh, I have a topic for us today. I've been thinking about what it takes to change our habits of feeling. As a conscious creator who pays attention to your vibration, right? You've probably noticed that emotions can be very persistent, meaning finding our way to the ones that we prefer can be something of a mission because we keep finding ourselves back in the range of where we've been. Like we have this emotional signature that reflects what our dominant feelings, vibrations, emotions are that just wants to keep being. We default to those vibrational patterns, whether they're desirable or not so desirable, because that's what law of attraction does. Whatever's had momentum, it wants to keep being. It wants to become more. So when we try to move it, it's going to take some effort because law of attraction wants to keep taking us back to what's been before. That's why raising our vibration can seem so daunting sometimes because momentum from law of attraction keeps bringing us back to where it's already been. And if your default vibration is happy-go-lucky, life is good, loving everything that you see, then that's a fabulous thing. That is a wonderful default to return to because you'll bounce back from challenges really, really well. But if your default is more like, well, anything other than that, frustration, boredom, irritation, fear, then your efforts to get happy can seem really challenging because as soon as we take our hand off the wheel, we go right back to what we're used to. That's why we can have those experiences where something amazingly good and fun happens, like we're loving it, but it doesn't take long before we're back to, well, whatever is normal for us. What I'm saying is moving our default point of focus is, well, it's a thing. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Because sometimes when we're manifesting the stuff we want, it could be that our dominant vibration or our set point is getting in the way of that. I mean, after all, if we're spending a lot of time in anxiety, manifesting something that makes us happy is kind of tricky. Or it could also be that we do manage to manifest the thing that we thought was going to make us feel better, like the neighbors move, or we get the promotion, or the money came in, or we lost the weight, or whatever. But it doesn't actually make us feel that much better, at least for that long. You know, like the new thing just becomes part of our regular old life, and it doesn't really feel like the emotional upgrade we thought it was going to be. That's because nothing else can make you feel any particular way. That's always an inside job. And that's why knowing how to raise your vibrational set point is really helpful. The cool thing is when we succeed at this, not only do we end up feeling better because, we kicked our vibe up a couple notches, but we also end up manifesting better too because now we're a better match for all the happy dreams come true. So I wanted to talk about how to create a new emotional set point or a new vibrational default for yourself. It turns out that we can't really muscle our way into a new emotional habit. Willpower is just another form of resistance, so I think we'll benefit from a different approach than that. Here's what I've seen work when it comes to actually moving our vibrational dial for the long haul. First, we need some sort of a pattern interrupt. Changing anything when we're in the throes of that old familiar vibe is not a great setup for success. It's really better to do this work before we get there. Like either find a gap or create one in order to win at this game. The way the experts describe this is that you can't install a new pattern while the old one is still running. So we've got to interrupt the pattern somehow. And some of the best ways to do that can be biological, believe it or not, or physical, like take some deep breaths, or go for a short walk, or splash some cold water on your face. Anything that shifts your state out of the norm and into something more neutral is where we want to begin. And after that, we're talking small repetitions because we're going to create a new normal the same way we created the old one, through lots of repeated activations, little activations over and over and over. That's where every habit came from, including our habits of feeling. We practiced it lots of times, and that's what we're going to do to get a new one. We're going to practice it lots of times. It's worth knowing that it works best to keep it just small practice sessions, like little hits of a vibration activation. I'm talking 30 seconds of genuine appreciation is more useful than a 45-minute meditation because this works better through frequency than it does intensity. And here's the other thing to know. We got to do it for real. The feeling we're practicing, it does not work to fake it. We can't perform appreciation or peace or love or hopefulness or whatever we're aiming for. We want to really genuinely get there. What I'm saying is our better feeling has to be real, even if it's small. A true moment of relief is more powerful than a performed moment of joy. Another helpful thing to know, remember Joseph Murphy's Power of the Subconscious Mind? Actually, I think Neville talks about this. Joe Dispenza does too. There's something about that state that we're in right before we go to sleep and right after we wake up that's extra powerful for practicing these new emotional states. I don't know exactly why that is, but I have found that to be true in practice, and I'm just mentioning it because I think you can get more traction when you practice those new vibrations in short bursts at these particular times. But the key really is repetition. Pay more attention to repetition than to timing, but you can put timing on your side as well. I want to say something too about just paying attention to who you're being, your identity. As you do this work, you can start to work up a new idea about yourself. Your self-concept, your self-identity can either hinder or further your progress in this work. So it's worth it to start knowing yourself as someone who feels this new way. Just tell a better story about yourself than what you've known before. That identity shift isn't going to happen dramatically, but just through consistent reminding yourself. And that's basically it. This isn't rocket science. It's just being willing to be proactive and conscious and deliberate about how you want to feel enough to make it your new normal. This is why gratitude journaling is such a popular method with so many people. It's why one of my 3 micro habits for manifesting is to be able to name something good in the contrast. Because if you can name something good while you're standing in the crap, you've still got a foothold in appreciation, and that's a vibrational win. Like when my dog tipped over the table and broke one of my most prized crystals the other day. Oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking. But you know what? The truth is, even in 2 pieces, it's still a pretty amazing crystal. I mean, it used to be one big piece. Now it's 2 smaller pieces. But that also makes them easier to handle. Like that big one, it was so heavy it did not get very many full moon baths. It's going to be easier to get these out. Plus, I could have one now in one room and another piece in another room. There's something good here. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that sooner or later, as conscious creators, we're going to realize that we keep trying to raise ourselves up on the vibrational scale from the same place because that's where we keep defaulting to. So if we just commit to creating a new vibrational normal for ourselves, it can make our manifesting work much more satisfying, let alone our overall life. What this does is it allows us to shift our alignment work from how do I feel better right now to how do I make this new feeling familiar enough that it stops requiring effort on my part. Our goal is a new default, not a lifetime of trying to make ourselves feel better when we notice that we don't. So just to recap, here's how it goes. First, the pattern interrupt. That's where we say, hold up, I think I feel myself starting to get irritated or whatever. Before we're all the way in it, maybe do a little box breathing, or maybe go step out in the garden for a minute. In fact, the visual I get when I think about that process is kind of like putting the engine in neutral. So it stops momentum on where I was going, like maybe anger or fear or wherever I might have been headed before I gave myself that little intervention. Okay, and after that pattern interrupt, then I give myself a quick hit of what I would rather. Maybe it's contentment, and I could do that by just considering what's going right. Or maybe it's appreciation, and I think, who do I love? Or relief. Maybe I can do that by using my body to just shake out some tension or anxiety. And then maybe tonight as I'm drifting off to sleep, I think about how cool it was where I stepped in and made a different choice in that moment earlier in the day. And that might give me a little satisfaction, which is a rock star vibration. Oh my gosh, satisfaction will serve us in so many ways. And maybe I go to sleep thinking about what else I'm satisfied about, like how good this pillow feels, or how good that book is that I'm reading, or anything that helps me activate feelings of whatever I prefer, satisfaction, appreciation, contentment, relief. I just want to go to sleep basking in those good vibrations. And then I do it all again tomorrow, where I put excuses in front of myself to practice the feelings that I prefer, which we do at GVU every day. We have specific threads that are designed to take us to good places. Just reading someone else's post can do it, but adding our own to it is cool too. Or whatever works for you. In fact, I suspect you've got good input on this subject. I would love to hear from you in the comments if you care to share. In the meantime, I hope you got some inspiration from this. Thanks for listening and happy manifesting.